So I took some advice recently from a health professional. Doing this little thing that I'm going to share with you in this video has literally 10x my productivity. It's made me more clear, it's given me more concentration and focus throughout the day, it's leveled out my emotions way more. I'm able to now focus and work consistently, and I've got consistent levels of energy just by doing one small little thing that I promise you probably have never heard of before. It's a bit weird. Now, the cool thing about this is there's no gimmick, there's nothing to buy, it's just something that you can literally do in your home right now, every day. And if you do it every day, your productivity will be massively increased. Now, I want to precursor this video and preface this video by telling you that this is my experience. This has worked really well for me. I don't know about you, but either way, it's a non-invasive way of massively improving your productivity. So I'm inviting you to give it a go because it's helped me. Now, I'm going to sort of explain what the problem was with my productivity and why I was feeling lethargic through the day and why I kept getting tired and unable to focus. And then I'm going to sort of explain how I started exploring that and now eventually how I've solved it throughout this video. So if you stick around, you'll basically learn the solution to my new level of productivity. I thought I was productive and energized, and then I discovered this thing and I realized there's a whole new realm to discover, right? So if you like biohacking and health videos, this is for you. So my name's Charlie Morgan. I have built and scaled 2 companies, a 7-figure marketing agency that I sold and a multi-7-figure coaching business that I still run. The purpose of this channel is basically to help other people make money through their businesses and for me to document my journey to 8 figures and beyond. I hope you like this video. There's no course or 997 program or webinar to sell you. Just if you stick around, like the video and subscribe if you like it. So a while ago, I basically started facing some lethargicness and tiredness throughout the day. I'd get to the afternoon or I'd do something really taxing for my brain, and afterwards I'd feel pretty exhausted. What I've learned, if anything, with my body and biology is that it's always cause and effect. Your mood or your energy levels or your focus levels are input and output based. If you have shitty inputs, you'll have shitty outputs. Basically, what I did is I sent off my DNA, right, some strands of my hair, to multiple different people who test for food intolerances. You know the saying, like, you are what you eat? If you put in foods that your body doesn't like or can't deal with properly, then the output will obviously be negative because your body's a system. The inputs and the outputs are obviously related. So how has this happened? How has this worked? Right. So I sent off my DNA and I got reports back from a series of different DNA providers, people who test your DNA for food intolerances. You can find them online. The key here is make sure you send off your DNA to more than one so you can actually cross-check the intolerance list they give you. So if you just send it to one and another, they might give you different intolerances and you might wonder what you're actually intolerant to. But what I did is I sent it off to like 3 or 4 and then I basically cross-referenced the foods that came up most consistently, because if they come up consistently on different tests, obviously you're more likely to be intolerant to those specific foods. So what I actually have here is a folder with a document, and this document basically contains every single food intolerance I have. If you're intolerant to something and you eat it, then it doesn't digest properly in your stomach. Your body doesn't have the means of producing the enzymes or the means of basically digesting what you've eaten. So for example, what I can tell you is that I'm intolerant to chicken meat. I'm also intolerant to blackberries, lentils, chickpeas, coriander, coconut, eel, of all things. I'm intolerant to a fair few foods that I was consistently eating, basically. I didn't realize that I was intolerant to these foods, and eating those foods that I couldn't digest properly basically led to me feeling lethargic and tired. Now, why? Let me explain. This gets really deep. So let's say, for example, I ate chicken. When I eat that, my body can't digest it properly. So what happens is the matter, the organic matter, basically ferments and is then like at the mercy of bacteria, parasites, and viruses for them to eat it and produce chemical gas, or it leaks out into my stomach lining and into my bloodstream, and all the bad chemicals that come from what the bacteria and parasites do with it leak into my bloodstream. When that happens, my body responds with an immune response. Like, it's quite taxing. If I eat a chicken breast, the food doesn't digest, it sits in my stomach. First of all, I'm not really getting energy from that food. So if I think I've eaten a chicken breast, I might feel satiated, but it doesn't mean I'm actually getting nourished. So that's one thing that would lead to me not feeling particularly awake or energized after a meal, because I haven't even digested the good parts of it. Sure, some stuff might get through, but this is obviously a verbatim understanding of it, right? This is what I found with myself. Now what happens is, after a while, if you eat too much of this for a long period of time like I did, then you basically build up a lining of parasites in your gut parasites that basically feed off this fermented material that you've been eating. And if you continue to eat it, it gets worse. So I've been eating chicken meat, lentils, chickpeas, coriander. Do you know what? Those foods I've eaten pretty much every single day for the past year without knowing that I'm intolerant to them. And there's some other ones in there, like lettuce I can't eat, for example, lactose in general, malt as well. But those are things that I didn't eat as much. But then I found out I was eating yogurt every day, I was eating chicken every day, I was eating protein shakes, I can't eat whey powder apparently. So my diet was just basically completely fucked in relationship to what my body actually needs and wants. Here's where it gets cool, and here's where I fix this problem, right? So first things first is, if you want to fix the problem, you just stop eating those things. But then I spoke to one of the professionals, a consultant at one of the DNA companies. She basically showed me a report of all of my health systems. And on this report, I've got red lines and blue lines. And blue lines basically means that my systems are underperforming, which means they don't need to be activated as much. Or red lines means they're overperforming, which means that they're basically doing too much. And the one that was overperforming for me the most is my parasite status. And parasite status is basically an indication of how much of your immune system or bodily systems are dedicated to dealing with parasites. And most parasites you have will be in your gut. What's in your gut depends on what you eat, and what you eat depends on what you're intolerant to. So that is basically the problem. Long story short, the reason that I was having fatigue, tiredness, and energy issues throughout the day for the past couple of months specifically is because I was eating foods that led to basically me having parasites, and then my body having to deal with those parasites and kill them off. Imagine my body's only got 100% energy. It was dedicating like maybe 25% of the energy it had specifically to the gut, to the parasites, right? Which is bad. And then on top of that, all of these chemicals, byproducts of like bacteria digesting fermented material is obviously all going into my bloodstream. Not good. So how do you get rid of these parasites? Well, step one is obviously stop eating the food, but step two is hot water. I've been drinking hot water for a couple of days, and I cannot begin to tell you how much clearer and more focused I feel having done it. Like, it's actually uncanny. So first of all, I've stopped eating the foods, which I think has probably massively helped. Basically, I was talking to this woman called Lee from this consultancy place, and she basically explained to me that when you drink hot water, basically you boil water and you put it in a mug and then you drink it after it's just basically cool enough to drink. And all of these parasites, they don't like the heat, right? They don't like near boiling water or warm water like that's been boiled. Flushing through, it basically flushes out the parasites, and it helps you pass through any fermented material and get rid of all of the bacteria and parasites that you don't want in your gut. So basically what I've been doing is I've been drinking 5 or 6 big mugs of water basically every day, of hot water. Now I drink water for a pastime. You can see I've got this big water bottle here that's got like 2 liters in it. I drink 2 of those a day. Every morning I fast, right? So I don't eat anything between basically 8 p.m. and 12 p.m. the next day. So when I wake up and I start work at about 9 a.m., before 12 p.m. I've drunk about 6 of these. And like, I'll put lemon in the water sometimes, I'll put lime in the water, I'll put cucumber in the water, sometimes it will be a cup of peppermint tea, like this is here for example. But the point is just to get as much of this near boiling water through me as possible. And I've been doing it now for a couple of days, and I cannot recommend this enough. Like I said, this is my experience. You might drink boiling water and notice no difference. But for me, like, this has been a significant breakthrough for my productivity and my focus. I no longer have like massive amounts of brain fog. I no longer have like fatigue, and I no longer have energy spikes throughout the day. It helps that I've cut out the foods, and that's probably had a huge part of it. But I can tell that, just by getting some of this down me every day, that's basically like pretty fucking hot, but I can drink it, when it's tolerable, you can drink it. And by getting that down me, I've just noticed a huge improvement in my productivity. Yeah, I wanted to sort of explain, first of all, like the biology behind the problem and why it's creating the problem, because your gut is like, in science, human biologists call the gut the second brain, but there's a nerve that connects the gut directly to the brain, like one direct line. And if the gut's unhappy, it sends signals to the brain, and most brain fog that you experience and most sort of lack of clarity and like brain fog and anxiety comes from a bad gut. So if you're eating loads of sugar, or if you're eating loads of foods that are processed and loads of oils and like foods that you can't digest easily, or lots of milk and lactose, if you're doing those things and your gut's basically like unhappy, then it creates this brain fog. So just watch what you eat, basically, is the lesson. And yeah, so I hope that this video has been useful for you. And I hope that, if you try this, it works. But I wanted to just recommend it because it's been useful for me. It's just something that I've learned recently and something that might help you. So if you enjoyed the video, you can just subscribe and like. If you have any other video suggestions you'd like me to make, specifically to this topic or any other topics, just drop a comment below and I might oblige. Don't turn the bell notification icon on. You don't need to be notified every time I upload. You can just check back every now and then. All right, anyways, have a great day. I'll talk to you later.